are having a new moon in Pisces tomorrow, but it's going to feel more like an eclipse because the North Node is in Pisces. It's still in the eclipse zone. So although it's a new moon, it's going to feel eclipsy, and it's going to be bringing up the same themes that have been happening over the past couple months and this past eclipse season. We have had eclipse activations all week, so I wouldn't personally say that we're out of eclipse season yet, because there's still activations happening, and this is one of them. This is launching us forward into something very fated and very destined, but not straight away, because we're still in Mercury retrograde. It will go direct on March 20th, but then we're in a 2-week post-shadow period until April 9th. So nothing is going to fully come into fruition until that point. And if you feel like you've entered the year of the fire horse and it was advertised as fast, quick, momentum building, taking action, and you haven't done any of that yet, that's okay, because this is the energies. We are still in a very deep Mercury retrograde cycle, and a lot of us are going to feel the next 2 weeks of it as well in the post-shadow period. Sorry to say that, but you might. And me included, and a lot of people on social media were saying this Mercury retrograde was going to bring past people back. And if you're sitting here right now going, that person didn't come back, my ex didn't come back, whoever it was on your mind didn't come back, the message is, it's not so much about the person coming back, but what you understand about yourself when they don't. What patterns come up when that person didn't come back, when you didn't get to have that conversation, when you didn't receive the apology, when things weren't perfectly wrapped up in a bow. We are wanting, with everything going on in the world right now, physically and energetically, we are wanting to feel safe, held, secure, stable. But in the sign of Pisces, there is no stability, because Pisces cannot hold you. Pisces is boundaryless. So you feel like you are falling and you aren't being held right now. You aren't feeling safe, secure, and stable. You're not in a perfect little container, because Pisces is the falling apart. Pisces is the boundaryless, you're just floating or you're just falling, and the universe, you feel like the universe hasn't caught you yet. But this is the process that we have to move through, because Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. This is the sign of closure, of completion, of endings. And with Mercury retrograde here as well, we're wanting completion or closure with another person, and we might not get that. And maybe the lesson is that we don't need closure from that other person. We can find that within. And with the North Node in Pisces as well, the North Node is the head of the dragon. This is where our soul is heading into next. This is somewhere out of our comfort zone, so we aren't going to feel held and supported right now. Even though we really want to feel held, we want to feel the safety, the security, we want to have the reassurance, but we don't right now, because there's an ending happening, and now we're going to go into a transition where we have no idea where we're going, and then we're going to get to this new thing, which is where the North Node, where the head of the dragon is taking you and your soul. This is a new chapter of your soul that you haven't experienced yet. So if you're freaking out because you don't feel held, you don't feel supported, you feel like the universe has just thrown you off a cliff and you're just falling, know that when the universe throws you off, or throws you out of a relationship, or throws you out of a job and you're falling off this cliff, what's going to catch you in the end is the universe as well. But right now we're in the falling phase, if that makes sense. In the transition of change, we need to get out of our comfort zone. And that is what the North Node in Pisces is calling us to do right now. And we have this new moon in Pisces, and it's making an out of sign conjunction to Saturn and Neptune in Aries, which I've talked about a lot. And as soon as they transitioned into Aries, look at all the stuff that happened that I said was going to happen. It was crazy. Saturn, in basic terms, Saturn is structure, Neptune is the dissolving, the dreaminess, kind of Piscean energy as well. We are having so many structures and systems dissolving and falling apart right now, and this new moon is now conjuncting all of that energy. We are being asked to build in the fog. We cannot even see what we're building right now, and this is why some of you might be going crazy right now, because we have the Mercury retrograde bringing up all this past stuff. Then that past person doesn't come back and we have to deal with it ourselves. Then we have all these patterns coming up. Then we want to feel the comfort, the security, the safety, the reassurance, and we don't get it, and we have to give it to ourselves. We have to give the closure to ourselves. And then we feel all our systems and structures and life foundations falling apart, and we have to build, and we can't even see it. But that is what the energies are asking right now. We need to build in the fog, and we might be only able to see this far in front of us, and that's all the universe wants you to focus on right now. Just whatever's in front of you, just start building, rebuilding the structures that are slowly falling away and falling apart. So this new moon in Pisces is going to feel like our third eclipse, because it's still in that eclipse zone, and it's going to be a part of the same story of this eclipse season, but also from March 2025 and September 2025, the last two eclipse seasons we've had. Could be all these themes coming back, and Mercury retrograde would also be bringing it back into your awareness as well. We're facing all this stuff, and then March 20th, Mercury goes direct. You think it's over, but it's not. And then on March 20th as well, we have the Sun entering Aries. We have the astrological new year. We also have the equinox. So a lot of people are like, yay, new beginnings, let's start again. But not exactly, it's not exactly going to feel that way with all these other energies that are at play as well. On this same day as the astrological new year, the equinox, and Mercury stationing to go direct, we also have Mercury making an exact conjunction to the North Node, which is another eclipse activation. It just keeps prodding the same point over and over and over again, and this is another big fated moment. So it might not feel like a fresh new start or beginning, which is what a lot of people will say for the new year or for the equinox. It might not feel like we're completely starting over. We are still hitting the reset button, but we won't see that like evidence of a restart for another couple weeks. But it's still a fated, destined moment around March 20th. There's a lot of energy happening on the same day, and the eclipses or the eclipse energy is going to be amplified now, even though we're technically out of eclipse season. There is something coming back around that the Mercury retrograde has brought up for us to revisit, and we're going to think it over. And in the sign of Pisces, we're going to be very introspective. We're going to be tapping into our intuition and our feelings about it, and it's going to lead to some type of breakthrough. And this breakthrough moment, you might not feel yet, but I'm telling you it's coming. And the days following March 20th might actually show you the outcome of these eclipses. Not only this one, but the two in 2025. You might have a slight feeling or intuitive knowing of where you are being redirected to now, where you have been reoriented, where the path is now changing, where that North Node, the head of the dragon, is actually pushing you into. You might get a slight knowing, but don't be hard on yourself if you don't have complete clarity yet, because it's still foggy. But we are definitely still being pushed or pulled in a certain direction, and it is going to move us forward gradually, but we just might not see that yet. We also have to trust and know that life is naturally carrying us in the right direction always. And we need to know that life has an intelligence. And right now, that's where we're putting our power almost into surrendering and trusting in life's intelligence to take us to where we need to go without micromanaging every single step of the way, because you can't do that anyway. Don't even try to be the manager of the universe, because you'll get humbled every time. But with the South Node is in Virgo. That is the little micromanager that needs to have everything organized and perfected. But the South Node is what we're letting go of. So we're letting go of these tendencies to micromanage and control and plan and organize and have it all sorted. This is where we are just trusting and surrendering. And I know that that's an annoying thing for me to say right now, because probably the last thing you want to do is trust and surrender. But when has your life not worked out? Think about all the times that you've been in this position before where you had no idea where to go, you had no idea what was coming, you had no idea how you were going to get out of this unknown feeling, and then everything ended up okay in the end. The universe always catches us, but in the moment of our falling, we seem to forget all the other times that the universe has caught us. So I'm just here to remind you. It is not our job to make it work. It is not our job to manage this. It is not our job to direct our lives right now. With this North Node Piscean energy, life is taking over, and it's not our job to get in the way of that intelligence. This is the time where we really need to give it to God and trust and surrender in the unfolding of our life. Also, one last thing about the March energy that I want you to take note of is on March 28th, we are having a Saturn sextile to Pluto, which is going to be another big moment. Saturn is the structure going up against Pluto, which is the breaking down of everything. So like we're already going through all this dissolving, and then we have a Saturn sextile Pluto, thanks, which is literally going to break everything down to its core essence, because that's what Pluto's all about. And then we're having to rebuild it into something new, and we're going to have to transmute it, because that's the power of Pluto. There is some type of decomposing that's happening with the foundations of your life, and we're trying to build in the fog and things are falling apart, structures are falling away. You might start building something and then it gets shattered anyway. This is why we have to just trust the intelligence of life right now. But this sextile is going to let us allow something new and something different and something beautiful to be birthed from all the rubble and all the decomposting old stuff that we're letting go, and all the stuff that has been shed over the past year of the snake. Like we're really starting to build something completely new. But as our old lives are decomposing, that is creating the rich, fertile soil for us to now grow our new life. And that is the beautiful aspect of Pluto, that we are breaking and decomposing everything down to its core essence and sucking all the nutrients out of it, all the lessons that we needed to learn from our past, from all the Mercury retrogrades, from all the past eclipse seasons, and shedding the South Node stuff and moving into this North Node chapter, into something new, a new chapter of our soul evolution. And we are now building that off rich, fertile, fresh new soil that we could have only had by letting our old life die, really, and decompose and disintegrate. So these old structures are disintegrating and breaking down, but that's helping us. It's helping it be rebirthed into something brand new. So March 28th is when we really have a look at everything that has decomposed. The old life, the old identities, the old relationships that we've let go, that we've given to Source, we've given to God. And we're now having a look at our garden and what we want to plant next after all this period of dissolving and structures falling apart and life foundations not being foundations anymore. We are now going back to the drawing board, going back to just our rich, fertile soil. And this is where the building phase can slowly start happening. This is where we can start planting seeds. And then after the shadow period ends on April 9th, that's when we can slowly start taking action, planting more, but really honoring this time of dissolving and shattering and not feeling held and feeling like we're falling. This is a really important transition for us to build our new garden and to build our new life and new foundations. So although it's hard and it's tricky for the ego, we need to trust and surrender to the universe right now, because when has the universe ever let you down? Never.